Hi everybody, welcome to Yoga with Anadil. I am Anadil. Thank you so much for joining me today for our gentle back bending class. I really hope you enjoy it. So let's begin by standing at the top of your mat with the feet hip distance apart, spreading through the toes, and just taking a moment to get equal in your weight between your heels and your toes, and energizing through the knees, through the thighs, and just keeping the pelvis nice and level. Let's press the palms together and connect the thumbs into the heart, lifting the heart towards those thumbs, dropping through the shoulders. Just spend a moment to find your stillness, resisting that temptation to move quickly onto the next thing. So let's feel the feet grounding and our breath moving, and the experience of being in this body just for a moment as we breathe. With our next breath in, let's begin to ride that breath with a little bit of movement. So breath in, subtle bend in the knees, bow gently, lift on up with the arms, palms pressing. As we breathe out, let's bring the palms back to heart center, maybe a little bow. Next breath in, interlace the fingers, Kali Mudra, the fingers are pointing up with your interlace, big breath in. Let's take another breath here. You can stay with your hands pointing up towards the sky, or if you'd like a little back bend, you roll the inner thighs behind you like you're passing a book between your thighs back. And as we breathe the next breath in, lift the heart towards the sky, maybe your fingertips reach back. Please keep the back of the neck long and active, so no collapsing in the back of the neck. Breath out, come upright, bend through the knees, release your clasp as you drape over your bent knees and thighs. If you are able, allow the backs of the hands to rest on the ground with the palms facing up, and allow your energy, your breath to ripple down onto the earth. And we can shift our weight around a little bit here. Really get familiar with ourselves, with our weight, with our breath, and come to center. With your next breath, breath in, straighten through the legs, straighten through the arms. So maybe that means we end up on fingertips, or if your hands lift off the earth, we can rest them onto the shins or the thighs. Breath out, surrender it down to the earth for the second time. Follow your in-breath, rise. Flat back, shoulders back, crown of the head forward. As we breathe out, this time we'll place the hands onto the earth and step our right leg back in, ready for our down dog, and our left leg back, ready for our down dog. And be pressing to the fingertips, the thumb. Allow the heels to make their way down towards the earth. And we sweep our belly button back towards the thighs. Maybe there's a subtle bend in the knees here to help the back straighten. Lifting the sit bones up towards the sky as your heels ground, and then lift your navel into your spine. So nice strong core as we breathe. As you exhale, please drop your knees down onto the earth and sweep your shoulders over wrists, ready in half plank. So we're dropping the hips down, and we're sweeping the insides of the elbows forward. Look at the ground just ahead of you, and as we breathe out, press deeply into the thumbs, bringing the chin, chest down onto the earth. For this first round, we'll lift into Sphinx pose. So in Sphinx pose, the forearms are onto the earth and the elbows are roughly underneath your elbows. Your elbows are underneath your shoulders. You may find that they splay out slightly and that your hands may not be parallel, and that's fine, but we're working towards having this strongest alignment of the bones stacking. So with that, we stand nice and tall into our shoulders. We press the pelvis into the ground by placing effort into the glutes, into your bottom, and we press the feet into the earth. Pressing in actively, we lift the navel as much as we can and the heart rolling the shoulders back. So this is Sphinx pose. So a very supported introduction. So this is our first deeper back bend, and this could be enough. Otherwise you could see if you can lift through the right toes, curl them under, or lift the foot, maybe point the toes, and just see how much it takes before you meet your edge. And wherever you land, and it could be here, it could be here, it could be much further in, the activity in the elbows, the fingertips, and the grounded, everywhere that's grounded presses into the earth. Let's bow that down, let's place that down, and let's try the other side. Curling through the left foot. Let's see how that feels. Point through the toes. If you want to have a go at lifting through that foot, see if you're beginning to sink into your shoulders. Lift with your in-breath, heart forward, gaze forward, keeping openness in the throat as we begin to lift to meet our edge with that left foot. Breathe it down. And let's bow it down. Let's bring the hands underneath your shoulders or underneath your elbows. Come onto your knees with your in-breath. Lift through the spine into your cat posture, so the spine curls up towards the sky, the tailbone heads down, and we move all the way back onto our heels with your breath out. So it doesn't matter if you don't quite make it all the way down, but we're keeping the fingers grounded to have a really nice counter stretch to that first back bend. Let's breathe in, lift onto our knees, and into our down dog. Stay here as we breathe. Walking the feet up towards the hands. So take a look at your hands, very gentle stroll. Bringing the feet hip distance apart towards the hands. Wait for your next in-breath, flat back, straight legs, straight arms. Big breath in. And bow it down, palms offering up towards the sky. And you can curl on up vertebrae by vertebrae to standing, or you can keep a flat back, sweep on up, arms wide, big breath in, palms pressing. Keep the tailbone and spine long as we breathe out, hands to heart center. Let's interlace the fingers, index fingers point up, big breath in. Stay here, or continue rolling the inner thighs back a little bit more as you back bend. Breath out, let's drape over our thighs as we breathe out. Tabletop with our back, let's breathe in, Straighten through the legs, straighten through the arms. Rest your hands on shins or thighs if you want to. And as we breathe out, we'll place our hands underneath our shoulders, stepping back our right leg, dropping through that knee and lifting in off your mat with your feet hip distance apart. Spreading through the toes and just gently energizing through lifting the kneecaps, the quads, and just leveling through the hips. Press the palms together and just rest the thumbs into your heart and actually just lift the heart to connect with the thumbs more as we keep the tailbone long, shoulders down. And take a couple of breaths here just so that we can settle in, slow down. Resist the temptation to quickly move on by getting focused alongside our breath before we move the body. Energizing through the entire front of the body, lifting through the crown of the head with your in-breath. Inviting the elbows to ease, the shoulders to drop, and the tailbone to lengthen as you breathe out. With your next in-breath, soften through the knees. Take the fingertips all the way wide and up as you press your palms up towards the sky. Wait for your next out breath and draw those palms back to your heart center. Here, let's interlace the fingers. Use the index fingers to point up, your Kali Mudra. Breathe in and lift through those fingertips to reach all the way towards the sky. Now keep pressing the feet into the ground as you lift your heart up. Stay here, or if you like, you can take a bit of a heart opener here, so you can draw the inner thighs out to the back of behind you. So feel like you've got a book or a block that you're pressing away behind you. This opens the sacrum, so when you breathe in and you lift your heart, your tailbone does not compress into the back of the neck as you breathe in. And breathe out, come upright, release the clasp. Offer your palms up towards the sky and bend through the knees and rest the tops of your hands onto the earth as you drop through the crown of the head. Spend a moment or two to shift the weight from left to right as you breathe. Getting equal in your toes, your heels, left to right. Come to stillness. Follow your next in-breath by grounding your fingertips on the earth, straightening through the legs, lifting the crown head forward into our tabletop back. If by straightening the legs your hands release the earth, just rest them onto the shins. Drawing your shoulders back. And let's breathe out, surrendering the palms to the sky once more, resting your belly onto your thighs. Big breath in. Let's do that 2 more times. Straighten and lengthen through the spine. Breath out. Flow it out. Last time, straighten through the legs, lift through the heart, lift your energy. And this time, as we breathe out, let's place the hands safely onto the earth, lifting through the right leg, placing it all the way back, dropping the knee into our low lunge, our crescent lunge. Lifting through the heart, bring your weight over that back thigh, the back knee, and square through the hips. Big breath in. Rest your hands onto your thigh as we breathe out. Keep parallel through the hips, down with the tailbone. And you can flatten through the foot. Reach down with the hands, and as we breathe in, pick up that little playful balloon, reach it up towards the sky, and the tailbone can come down. Keep it long, and as we did when we were standing, the inner thighs roll back. And if you'd like a little bit more of a back bend, you can reach that balloon, passing it back as your heart lifts. Please don't drop your ears past the level of your arms. Keep the back of the neck long and lean into your lunge. Breathe here in your back bend. Keep active with all of the toes pressing into the earth. Let go of that balloon behind you and melt through the shoulders, melt through the arms, placing the hands around that front foot. Let's bring that front foot to the back on all fours, and let's just take a moment to cat-cow through the back. So just adjust into a more stable box position with your hands underneath shoulders and your knees underneath hips if you need to. Breathing in, dropping the spine, opening through the front of the spine, heart opens, tailbone shines high towards the sky. Deep back bend, and let's reverse that into our cat posture, pressing into the earth as you curl your tailbone down. And let's come to neutral. Let's lift into down dog, big breath in. And just stay in your down dog for a few breaths. Let's lift through that right leg. Bend your knee, bring that knee into nose. Come up high on the ball of that back foot. Look in between your hands, maybe a little bit further forward, and you'll sweep that foot forward, helping it along. Your right foot forward, helping it along. So now we're on the opposite knee. Taking our knee, grounding to this crescent lunge. Squaring through the hips once more, resting onto the thighs as we breathe out, keeping the activeness in the toes to lean forward. Now it's quite important not to passively rest your belly onto your thigh. So we want a bit of activeness and awareness throughout our yoga practice. So we lift the navel away and keep the tailbone long. Keep that going. Lift that balloon once more as we rise on up. Remember the inner thighs rolling in and down and back as we make our way into our back bend. If it's more comfortable, if you're feeling compression in the back, you can stay lifting and just take a very subtle back bend. Just do what's right for you. Remember to keep as level in the hips as you can. Bringing that right hip back, left hip forward. And breath out, bow the head, release that balloon and melt through the shoulders and the elbows once more. You can shuffle your foot if you need to. Reach the ground with your hands. And let's bring that front foot to the back once more. This time we'll just shift our shoulders over our wrists into our half plank. Try not to sink here, so lift through the core and wait for your next out breath to make your way down onto the earth. Bowing the head, grounding through the head, grounding through the feet. Now you can stay in your Sphinx position like we did in the previous round. Or if you'd like, you can take your hand by your head, take your hands maybe wide of you for wide cobra, maybe a little bit further forward, and breathe in here. See how that feels. Breath out. Keep the legs active, keep pressing, You can shuffle the hands back and in, see how that feels. If not, return to your previous option. Now really press the toes in and breath out. Get comfortable in your hands because we're going to stay lifted into our next cobra. You can take the more traditional cobra by bringing your hands underneath the elbows, but it depends on your wrists, or they can be underneath the shoulders, but find what works for you. Wait for our next in-breath. When it comes, press the pelvis, lift the back of the heart, chin is down until the last moment and lift it forward. Now here, let's see if it feels okay to lift through the toes. On the right side, take your choice. If you feel a lot of weight falling into the wrists, move your hands, bow, move your hands down. Bring your foot down and bow it out. Just adjust your hands to where it might feel better. And then let's lift for the next round. And then just see how it feels to curl the left toes under, lift through the heart, keep the glutes engaged. Maybe you want to point through the left toes and lift through that foot. Wherever it lands is fine. The heart is open, the shoulders are back, throat is open, breath out. Placing the hands underneath shoulders or elbows if not already. Follow your in-breath to lift onto all fours. Curl your spine all the way up towards the sky. And make your tailbone long as you bring your hips down towards your heels for a little counter pose. And you can rock from side to side here. Just ease out that back bend with a nice little rounding counter pose in your child's pose. And you can stay in stillness. Drop through the elbows, drop through the head. If your head doesn't quite reach the earth, you can make pillows with your hands to allow the spine to rest completely. Just take a few breaths. Relax through the shoulders, open, and let the breath settle. Take as long as you need here, and you can maybe even pause the video. Otherwise, when you're ready, let's reach the fingertips forward, shoulder distance apart, and breath in. We're going to make our way down one more time. Insides of elbow sweep forward and make your way with your next out breath alongside that out breath all the way down to the earth. Remember, you have the Sphinx option or the white cobra option or the traditional cobra. Breath in, press into all that is grounding in your option. Bow it down. Adjust your hands, get comfy, and lift. So you have the choice to curl one foot at a time in any option as we have done previously, or if you'd like, you can try both and see how that feels for you now. And then you could try to point your toes, keep lifting through the spine, and then lifting through the feet. Maybe bring the feet together and get a full stretch through the front of the body. Lift through the heart as you breathe. Now press into your fingers, down with the elbows, and next breath out. Let's ground the body all the way into the ground with the feet, with the hands, with the elbows. Let's bring the hands underneath shoulders or elbows one more time. And breathe in and lift on up. Curl through the spine, you can wriggle around. Get fluid with your movement as you make your way down into your final child's pose. Rest through the elbows And I invite you to bring your palms up towards the sky as you make your way down to rest in this pose. And spend as long as you like here, allowing the small of the back to elongate by lengthening the tailbone. I find it quite nice to widen through the knees here. Make sure your head is resting, even if it's supported by something other than the ground. And continue to allow your palms to surrender to the sky. If this feels uncomfortable for you, just rest your hands down. Just make sure your elbows are resting. And enjoy as you use your slow breath to soften through the entire body and clear and still the mind. Please remain here for as long as you like. Thank you very much for joining me once again today. I hope to see you another time. Namaste.